Usually, when I find something in the alley, I'll know right away whether it's useful, salvageable, or has any value whatsoever. But today's project, I initially passed it up because, well, I thought it was beyond repair. But the more I thought about it, I thought it would be a fun project to challenge myself and see whether or not I could fix something that was so badly damaged. And so, I bring you today the Unfixable project. Welcome to Alley Picked. This stool is broken. It's weathered so badly that I can't even tell what kind of wood it is. The joints in the seat are split open, pieces on the ends are missing, it has holes and large circles drilled into it. I start by removing the seat. I'll sand a spot to see if I can even tell what kind of wood it's made out of. This is no doubt oak. That's a very good sign because oak tends to be fairly resistant to moisture and it can take a beating. If this were made of pine, the wood rot might be too extensive and beyond repair. Here I can see lots of dried glue. A belt sander worked a little, but then it started heating up the glue and just melting it. A couple of passes on the table saw did a nice cleanup job. Now I can put it back together and let it dry overnight. All the dowels for the base must be taken apart and the staples removed. I'll sand all the pieces with a combination of the belt sander, orbital sander, and some hand sanding. I don't want to remove too much material on the ends of the dowels because that's where they're going to fit into the holes in the legs and I want them to fit snugly. Any place that has hard or dried glue must be removed. With the seat dry, I can begin making the missing parts. It's a thicker wood, so I'm going to glue two 3/4 inch pieces together. Then I found this thicker piece of oak, which I'll use for the other missing piece after I cut it down to size. With this much of a flat surface, I don't need to use dowels to hold these together. Wood glue is going to be stronger than the wood itself. I noticed a lot of these dried splits in the wood. To fix those, I'm going to water down some wood glue and press that into the cracks. I'm watering it down so that it's going to penetrate deeper into the cracks. Now I can shove some sawdust in there and let it dry. To get rid of the circles, I'm using this carving wheel on my angle grinder. It'll make a nice concave surface for sitting on. Now I've got the 6 deep holes to deal with. I could shove a dowel rod in there, but the better way is to use a plug cutter. This will give me plugs with a surface grain that's going to match the wood rather than end grain from a dowel rod, which is going to stand out like a sore thumb. I sand using coarser grits at first until I end up with 220. Now for a drink of my favorite stain, Minwax oil-based dark walnut stain. This stuff hides a multitude of sins. Before applying the stain, I use some paint thinner on the end grain as a pre-stain so that the stain won't get too dark. If the stain has been sitting for a while, give it a stir to distribute any pigment chunks on the bottom. I did a test fit on all the pieces. One of the holes in the leg has widened and the dowel is very, very loose. Now I could plug the hole and re-drill it, or an easier method, which I just made up myself, is to shave a very thin piece of oak on my bandsaw. I placed it in some water, stuck it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and this made it more bendable. Enough so that I can glue it down and secure it with a band clamp until it dried. A little sanding, and now I've got a perfect fit. Now I can assemble all the pieces and clamp it up until it dries. Tomorrow I'll wrap up this project with a few coats of polyurethane. Before using polyurethane, you should stir it. Don't shake it or you might produce air bubbles, which you don't want showing up in the finish. So the next time that you find something cool in the alley, well, you can spend 30 hours fixing it if you're a nut like me, or you can just leave it there. Thanks for watching Alley Picked. Until next time, I'll meet you right here in the alley.